It is interesting. I've talked about this topic before where the right-wing evangelicals and those on the far right want to ban pornography. Mike Johnson, don't even get me started with him with his accountability partner nonsense. But now it could be affecting you. How, you say? Well, the website has blocked anybody starting January 1st, 2025 in Florida from using their website altogether. Why? Because some of these states are having stricter laws put in place of having to show a driver's license, proof of a driver's license, to use one of these sites. So to talk to us about this, we have two lovely ladies. One, of course, a former pastor, now turned life coach, and the other, a former teacher, now turned OnlyFans model. And they're both making boatloads of money. And it's a pleasure to have both of them on, Nicole Mitchell and Courtney Tilia. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. A pleasure to have you guys on, as always. Good to see you.
Thank you for having
me. All right,
me.
Nicole, let me start with you quickly here. What do you make of this story? And thank you for being here, by the way, with blocking members in Florida because of these new strict laws.
I mean, this whole scenario is like psycho. Like, instead of addressing things that actually matter, like guns in schools and healthcare, things that like actually affect the lives and quality of lives for people, right? Like, let's punish people who let's punish content creators. So I think, unfortunately, I don't like that is in this position, but if that's what they have to do to protect their bottom line and protect their business, then pull out. Like, this is a time to pull out to deal with the crazy scenario that they are currently facing.
I could say Donald Trump has made a living doing that, but I would never make a joke like that. Courtney, I want to go to you now, Courtney, and thank you so much for joining us as well. All right, let me play devil's advocate here. People out there that would say, well, wait, this is a good thing. Stricter laws, show your driver's license to make sure that young children aren't on adult websites. What would you say to that?
You know, they always go at it from this approach, like, let's protect the children. That's always their thing, because in the end, we can all agree on protecting the children, but their agenda and their goal and their what they're going after is not actually protecting the children. We've witnessed that with the abortion ban. And now we are seeing new bills that say, well, let's give women who even search for an abortion the death penalty. And so this is just them going after their goals of getting rid of and creators completely.
All right, so let me ask you both this question. This is but do you feel like this could be just the start? We could be going to OnlyFans. We could be going to other websites where state by state, especially if they're conservative run states, that they will be making laws stricter, for lack of a better term. Do you feel like this is just the beginning? And Courtney, I'll start with you on this one, and that it could be a trickle-down effect when it comes to adult websites.
Absolutely. They always go after the big companies first to kind of set an example. It's the 19th most visited website in the world overall, and the #1 for adult content. So they're going to go after them to make an example, and we will continue to see a trickle-down effect of going after anybody who is creating, because that's really what they're after. They don't want any adult content, adult creators. And there is 1 billion views per year on. Making it go away isn't going to make the issue or people's desire for that content go away. It just, again, makes it unsafe for the creators, the consumers, and that's kind of what they're going after.
Agree. Nicole, what do you say to that?
Yeah, this really affects the livelihoods of content creators at the end of the day. It doesn't really do much for children. In fact, it harms them. I'm the provider for my children. And if they took down OnlyFans or even TikTok, for example, like, they're always constantly going after things that don't matter as much as, let's address the gun problem in America. No, let's focus on TikTok. Let's focus on. So if they took OnlyFans away from us, or, you know, even content creators on, that's a direct impact on their bank account, which directly impacts their ability to provide for their families and children. So if you actually care about the well-being of children, you shouldn't take away the livelihood or jobs of those who are providing for them.
Agree. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll ask both of you this. Florida, run predominantly by conservative Republicans. It's not the left that is doing this right now. I'm sure there are plenty of Democrats out there that don't want someone who's 12 or 14 years old on some of these adult websites. I can understand that. I don't either. I'm sure you both don't want that. But it seems to me across the country that it is more the right-wing evangelicals and those that are on the far right that speak constantly. In fact, every time when the AVN Awards are out here every year, it always seems like these right-wing fringe groups are protesting. And I've seen it with my own eyes. So are these are right-wing conservatives that are putting these stricter laws in place, or is it a mix of both Democrats and Republicans? for either of you that want to answer that.
Go for it, Courtney.
It's definitely you definitely are gonna have some Democrats in there, but predominantly this is gonna be your evangelicals. This is a product of Project 2025. You're gonna see a lot of those right-winged conservatives really pushing this and financially backing this, which we've witnessed over and over again through this entire election. That financial backing helps put out bad propaganda, puts out false information. And people are like, oh my gosh, children are accessing. Well, not really. So they're just pushing things out there like that to really get their message across.
I'm wondering, Nicole, because I agree. I remember this guy, Mark Robinson, who ran for office, I believe in North Carolina, and he would speak publicly. And then these people came out of the woodworks and said, well, wait a second, I run a video store and I've seen this guy in there like a dozen times. He had memberships to all these different websites, which, by the way, don't have a problem with, but apparently it was looked up that he was watching gay, which again, to each their own, don't have a problem with it, but this was the same guy who spoke anti-LGBTQ rights. It seems like we get a lot of those types of hypocrites, and maybe even some of them that watch both of you, which is great, but then speak against what both of you do for a living.
100%. They care about power. They care about control. They don't care about integrity. They don't care about values. They don't care about the children. They care about money and power at the end of the day. And they will say whatever it takes. And I've talked to politicians about this, where they've said, I've joined the Republican because I know they're going to win. So I'll spew what they want me to say if that means I get a political position, which is disgusting. Like, they're willing to lie and push an agenda they don't believe in because it's going to give them power. And I just want to put it out there, Facebook is one of the biggest spreaders of child, and yet they're coming after content creators. So look at like where that stuff is actually taking place. Because, like, for example, OnlyFans, you can't be a kid and log in. Right. You do have to prove your age. So it is a lot harder for any child to access OnlyFans, but super easy on Facebook. So why would you come after OnlyFans content creators and not deal with a major issue on a free platform where people are posting horrific stuff? So it just shows like they don't really care about children. They care about money, power, and control at the end of the day.
Agree. I feel the same way for years about gambling, online gambling, where it was so many Republicans. I mean, I respect John McCain, but for years he was against online gambling, and then he was caught in the House chambers during a hearing playing poker on his phone. It was insane. And now, for the most part, online gaming is available in this country for the most part. I feel the same way about marijuana until the government got their big piece of the pie. Then all of a sudden they legalized it. They didn't not legalize it because it was unhealthy for Americans. They just decided to not legalize it because they wanted a piece of the pie, and a lot of people were becoming rich off of it. Do you feel like, to an extent, it's the same thing here, where if the government gets a bigger piece of the pie, they'll probably make it easier and more accessible to people in state by state?
Okay, I would say absolutely.
I'm like, yes, because they always want more money, but also America's very prude. Right.
Yeah,
like, so
true.
that's where, like, I think they are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They see the massive money that's made through adult content, but they also have to take the stance that they're somehow a Christian nation with Christian values. So I think they are stuck between a hard place. So I think if they push for a ban, it looks like they're a leader, but behind the scenes, they're trying to come up with a way to milk it for themselves. So they're in a tough place, because if they would drop the fake prudeness and just accept and own that adult pleasure is okay and consensual and desirable, they could make a lot more money from it.
Agree. So, Courtney, what can we do about this? It's already started in Florida. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are fans that are in Florida, and they're pretty disappointed by this. What type of country are we living in now? And I don't want to make an analogy to like abortion, but I guess in this aspect, I guess I'll make a bad one, where I don't think geography should have anything to do with a woman's body, right? You shouldn't have to go to another state to get an abortion, but I would also say you shouldn't have to go to another state to go on an adult website. I mean, one's more serious than the other, but the point still stands. Why should geography have anything to do with this?
And you know that Florida is going to be the 6th state in the ban and so they're joining. And so again, what we're seeing across between abortion and this, and I'm sure we'll see it across many other bills and platforms, is we're just seeing this trickle out effect of more conservative values, more control over people, what they can consume, what they can do, what they can do with their body. And so we're just continuing to see that like widespread out. It's scary. And I think the big thing that we really are witnessing is we're witnessing so much shame that people have in themselves in their pleasure and their sexuality. And that's why you see like, oh, is wrong, but they're mass consuming of some consent of some type behind the scenes. If we didn't have so much shame and guilt as a nation, we could actually, one, the government could probably make some type of profit if that's their end goal. But in the end, we could make it safe for everybody, the consumer, the people producing the content. Everybody would be so much safer if we could just let it be that it's okay.
I feel the same way about prostitution. I think it should be legalized. I think it's safer for the women. It's safer for the customer. Prostitution is legal about 45 minutes outside of Las Vegas in a town called Pahrump. But yet in Las Vegas, you see cars everywhere that say women direct to you when we really know what's going on there. But it's technically not legal. There are more important things that I'm sure law enforcement are concerned about. All right. Final question to both of you, which would be, what can we do about this? How do we change this?
Honestly, subscribe to our accounts. You want to support adult content. You want to support content creators. Subscribing to the people who actually create it and do it ethically is the way to go. And second, another problem about this is like I was in DC for the first time last month, and DC is banned in DC. So when I went on there, it's not there because I wanted to test it for myself. So I had to go to other sites that I'm not as familiar with, and I don't know the ethics of their content. Was this uploaded ethically? Was this uploaded with consent? Are these of age content creators? Because now when you take away the main platform, you're allowing these underrated, evaluated other sites to come up, and we don't know where that content is coming from. So if you want to support content creators, support OnlyFans creators, support websites where we are creating it ethically and from our own desire. We are of age, it is consensually done. And second, I want to say, I just saw an article yesterday that Texas proposed a ban on the sale of sex toys in their state. So it's just so ridiculous. So
they'll ban sex toys, but AR-15s in the hands of a bunch of 18-year-olds is totally fine. Oh my God, what a joke. Why am I not surprised? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go on strike myself, and I'm going to start up a website called pastybaldradiohostnaked.com, and I'll just punish everybody, and I'll start that website up. Anyway.
They're promoting it and targeting it to the Republicans.
There you go. I should do that. Hey, before I let both of you go, can you give out your social media and all the information, how people can join your OnlyFans? Both of you give that out for our listeners.
Yeah, you can find me. I have a website, NicoleMitchell.com. Nicole is NIKOLE. It has all my links. Tonight is actually my big OnlyFans performance for the month. This is my XXX performance. So if you want to come, I would love to have you. That sounds like a lot of fun. Courtney, give out that information.
Yeah, I'm CourtneyTilia.com, and the last name is TILLIA, and Courtney with a C. And you get all my links there. And then I'm doing detention because since I was that naughty teacher, we do detention live every Sunday at 5 p.m.